When I left for Mexico, I was worried about everything. Speaking Spanish, being accepted by my host family, and finding something to eat, a common fear among most vegetarians when we enter new places. With my arrival in Merida, I was greeted by the infamous series of questions that so many vegetarians hear every time someone else is preparing food for us. Do you eat red meat? No. What about fish? No. Shrimp? No. Chicken? No. Eggs? Yes. Milk? Yes. Finally, my host dad asked the classic dad question. What do you do for protein? Peanuts? I replied. Honestly, I've always just hoped that it works out. The entire drive home focused on my vegetarian diet, and when we finally made it back to the house that night, I just hoped that I hadn't told them something wrong in my broken Spanish and was going to find sausage on my plate in the morning. When I woke up, my wish came true. I found a whole plate of fruit at my spot at the table. Hallelujah! After a few moments to admire my plate of 5 different fruits, my host dad asked me how many days I'd been there. I was slightly confused, thinking I'd misheard his question, as I'd been there for less than a day. I asked him to repeat the question. I was right. He'd asked me how many days I'd been there. I rounded up and said uno. I was nearly certain that I'd misheard his reply when he said, good, I've been vegetarian for 1 day. The expression on my face clearly gave away my confusion, and he repeated his statement. I nearly dropped my fork. He really did say that he was vegetarian for 1 day, starting with my arrival, and I was having such a hard time believing what he said. It was difficult for my own family to accept my decision to stop eating meat 5.5 years ago, and yet my host dad, who's known me for less than 1 day, was more than willing to accommodate me and even join me. After this, each day that I was in Merida, my host dad asked me, how many days have you been here? I became more familiar with this question and began to see it as a daily reminder of how accepting my host dad was. Because of his actions, I was more than willing to try new foods, speak Spanish to the locals, and accept the culture of Merida. I found that I truly was welcome here. With each day that passed, he remained a vegetarian. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the days flew by. Now we're at 27. That's how many days I've been here, and that's how many days my host dad has been vegetarian.